If someone mentioned that extinct animals like the woolly mammoth could come back to life, most would find it unbelievable. Experts have traveled the globe, searching for and occasionally discovering animals once thought to be extinct. Over the years, they have found 8 such animals. However, most extinct species no longer roam the planet. But thanks to colossal biosciences and their groundbreaking scientific advances, reminiscent of something out of Jurassic Park, there's a chance that some of these long-lost species might be brought back to life within our lifetime. Tasmanian tiger. The Tasmanian tiger, more formally known as the thylacine, captures the fascination of many as an extinct species that once roamed the forests and plains of Australia and Papua New Guinea. This creature was unique, boasting features that seem to blend the characteristics of wolves, coyotes, tigers, and kangaroos into one remarkable marsupial carnivore. Historical records suggest that the thylacine made its home in these regions roughly 4,000 years ago. The arrival of dingoes marked a turning point for the thylacine on mainland Australia and likely in Papua New Guinea as well, as these new competitors drove them to extinction in those areas. However, Tasmania, isolated and dingo-free, provided a refuge where the thylacine could thrive for a longer period. The last known individual, affectionately named Benjamin, was housed at the Hobart Zoo and survived until 1936, with existing footage capturing its haunting, striped appearance. In the wild, the last sighting was less fortunate. A farmer named Wilfred Batty reported eliminating a thylacine in 1930, marking a tragic milestone in the species' decline. Misguided by the belief that thylacines posed a significant threat to livestock, humans had already placed bounties on them, exacerbating their path to extinction, despite evidence suggesting they were not as harmful to farm animals as feared. Despite the bleak history, some hold on to the hope that the thylacine persists, hidden away in the less explored territories of western Papua New Guinea. While scientifically considered potentially extinct in those remote areas, the intrigue surrounding their possible survival fuels ongoing debates and explorations. Adding a layer of modern scientific endeavor, the company Colossal has embarked on a groundbreaking project to resurrect the thylacine. Utilizing DNA from preserved museum specimens, they aim to edit the genetic material by introducing sequences from the fat-tailed dunnart, the thylacine's closest living relative. This relative, however, is significantly smaller, about 1/100th the size of a thylacine. Through the use of advanced technologies like artificial wombs and sophisticated DNA sequencing, Colossal's initiative could potentially lead to the reintroduction of the thylacine into its native habitat. This reintroduction could have profound implications for Tasmania's ecological balance. Woolly mammoth. Let's talk about a fascinating creature from the past, the woolly mammoth. These giants roamed the Earth during the Pleistocene epoch, which spanned from about 700,000 to 4,000 years ago. Interestingly, a phenomenon known as insular dwarfism occurred, particularly notable on the California Channel Islands near Santa Barbara. Here, mammoths evolved into smaller versions of their mainland cousins, adapting to limited resources on the islands. It's a captivating example of how animals can dramatically change to fit their environments. Woolly mammoths were not just any prehistoric elephants. They played a significant role in their ecosystems and potentially in the planet's climate. Similar in size to today's elephants, these creatures sported long, curved tusks that could reach up to 16 feet, massive footpads, and thick, shaggy coats perfect for the freezing climates they inhabited. They spread far and wide, living across northern Asia, through Europe, and deep into North America. These animals were highly social, often seen in family groups, and their diet mainly consisted of grasses and other tough vegetation found in their harsh habitats. Dodo. Let's delve into the story of the dodo, an iconic bird that's often remembered more for its extinction than for its life. Known colloquially as one of the dum-dums of the animal kingdom due to its naivete around humans, the dodo was a remarkable creature. Standing about 3 feet tall, this flightless bird was native to the island of Mauritius, off the coast of Africa. Its lack of fear made it an easy target for the sailors who arrived in the 17th century, often leading to lethal encounters where the dodo was eliminated simply for sport or out of boredom. The dodo, actually a giant pigeon, lived a peaceful life before human interference. Its extinction is a classic example of how quickly and thoughtlessly a species can be wiped out by human activity. Today, the dodo's legacy lives on as a cautionary tale of extinction and environmental responsibility. Interestingly, there's a modern twist to the dodo's story. Colossal Biosciences is undertaking an ambitious project to bring back the dodo using advanced genetic technologies. By extracting primordial germ cells from the Nicobar pigeon, the closest living relative of the dodo, scientists hope to genetically engineer these cells to recreate the dodo. The goal is to reintroduce a dodo-like bird into the wild, potentially within the next few years, helping to correct a historical wrong through the power of science. Pyrenean ibex. Next, consider the Pyrenean ibex, a species of wild mountain goat that once roamed the rugged landscapes of the Pyrenees Mountains, straddling the border between Spain and France. Featured in the third season of the show, Extinct or Alive, this intriguing animal captured the imagination of many due to reported sightings of small groups leaping gracefully from cliff to cliff. Their agility and ability to navigate nearly inaccessible mountain terrains made them a fascinating subject for naturalists and conservationists alike. Despite vigorous conservation efforts during the late 20th century, the Pyrenean ibex faced numerous challenges that ultimately led to its extinction. The last known individual, a female named Celia, died in the year 2000, marking the end of this species in the wild. Factors like hunting, diseases from domestic animals, and habitat disruption contributed to their decline. However, the story didn't end there. In 2003, scientists attempted to clone the Pyrenean ibex using preserved tissue from Celia. This effort briefly succeeded in bringing a cloned ibex to life, though it tragically died shortly after birth due to lung defects. Despite the setback, the field of cloning has seen rapid advancements, fueling optimism that the Pyrenean ibex could once again roam the Pyrenees. The possibility of seeing this species resurrected through cloning offers a hopeful glimpse into the potential future of wildlife conservation and species revival. Passenger pigeon. The passenger pigeon was once the most plentiful bird flying across the skies of North America. These birds were easily recognizable by their stunning blue-gray feathers and the shimmering hues on their necks, capturing the eye with their beauty. They thrived in enormous numbers, reaching into the millions, and were known for their incredible migrations. The sight of a passenger pigeon flock was something to behold. These massive groups were so vast that they could temporarily darken the skies, much like an eclipse. However, the 19th century wasn't kind to the passenger pigeon. The birds faced relentless hunting as people sought their meat for food and profit. Alongside this, rapid changes in their natural habitats, due to expanding human settlements and the clear-cutting of forests, severely diminished their living spaces. These pressures combined to cause a swift and tragic decline in their populations. By the early 20th century, the situation had become dire. The last known passenger pigeon, a female named Martha, spent her final days in the Cincinnati Zoo and passed away in 1914, marking a somber end to this species. Quagga. The quagga was a unique animal, a special kind of zebra that once roamed the plains of South Africa. Unlike the typical zebra with stripes covering its whole body, the quagga had a striking appearance with stripes only on the front half. The back half was solid brown and had no stripes at all, making it stand out in the wild. Sadly, this fascinating creature didn't survive into modern times. It became extinct in the late 19th century, primarily because people hunted it too much. They wanted its meat and skin, which led to its numbers dwindling rapidly. The last known quagga died in an Amsterdam zoo in 1883, marking the end of this species. Despite its extinction, the quagga hasn't been forgotten. A dedicated group called the Quagga Project is trying to bring it back through a careful program of selective breeding. They're choosing zebras that look a bit like the quagga and breeding them in hopes of recreating the unique appearance of the original quagga. The efforts are showing promise, and there's real optimism about their success. In fact, the chances of the quagga making a comeback are highly favorable. with ongoing results boosting confidence every day. Bison antiquus. Moving further back in time, the bison antiquus was a massive prehistoric creature that once wandered across North America. This giant bison lived during the Pleistocene epoch, thriving in a variety of habitats from lush grasslands to dense forests. Much like the bison we know today, the bison antiquus was a social animal. It lived in herds and moved from place to place following the seasons in search of food. However, about 10,000 to 11,000 years ago, at the close of the last ice age, the bison antiquus met its demise. A mix of changing climates, increasing hunting by humans, and other environmental shifts proved too much for it to withstand. Today, no active projects are working to bring back the bison antiquus specifically, but the idea isn't out of reach. With the rapid advancements in science and technology, particularly in genetics, reviving such an ancient beast could one day be possible. If efforts were to start, the likelihood of success is not too shabby. Given the right conditions and enough scientific interest, the return of the bison antiquus could be more than just a dream. Interested in the stories of these ancient creatures and the efforts to bring them back? How do you think reintroducing species like the quagga and bison antiquus could impact today's ecosystems? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more fascinating wildlife updates.